Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to day 4 on Project Barry. The seats have been drying all over the weekend, they're nice and dry now. We've had some sun in the conservatory, they're all nice and dry. We need to get that sport seat out and get these seats in. Today it's -4, so we still really can't do any of that dent work, which is really annoying, but we'll get that seats in. But before we do that, as someone suggested, I am going to have a look and remove that panel that shows access, or allows access to the fuel pump, and just to make sure before I put the seat back that everything is there as it should be. I think 3 or 4 10mm bolts. So let's do it. Let's make a start on day 4 of Project Barry. Right, last bolt undone, let's have a look. Very dirty in there. You know what, actually, there doesn't actually appear, I would have expected to see some clean bits, like finger marks and what have you, on there. There actually doesn't appear to be any marks on there to show that they have actually taken that off. The clip is still on there. Look, if they had messed around with it, that would be clean like it is now. Look, like I've just done it. So that's a weird one. That is a weird one. So what does that mean? They haven't been in here? So why was it up at an angle then? There's no other way of getting any fuel out, is there? To remove that top, they would have had to have removed the power. I mean, it is clean around there, around that bit there, as if they might have removed that, but yeah. I mean, surely they wouldn't be so devious as to just put dirt back around it again. Surely not. Well, it's all on there properly anyway, you can see that. So we'll put it all back and then get the seats back in. Okay, all back in. There is a couple of dirty marks still on it. There's this one, which is the worst one. I don't know if I missed that or it was just a bit stubborn. So I'm going to go over that with the old foam stuff. And I missed that as well. Just shows you how dirty they were. And a little bit there as well. So I'm going to go over those with the foam stuff. That'll get it off. Possibly with a bit of G101 as well. Give it a scrub with that first. But apart from that, they're nice and clean. Right, I done that about an hour or so ago. It's still wet, but hopefully it's got the stain out. Done a couple of other bits on it as well. So yeah, hopefully that's done it. So there is not much more I can do on this at the moment. But what I think I might do is have a little go at these bits of paint, because it's only touching up, isn't it? So it's rubbing it down a little bit and then continually going over and filling it with bits of paint. So I might go around the car and do that, or do this bumper anyway. And then once the weather warms up, which hopefully it might warm up a little bit by next week, we can get stuck in and get that done. But this can go out on the street now. Don't have to leave it on the drive, which is good. Okay. I think, yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna set you up, and we'll get that. We'll make a start on that. We'll film a little bit of it. See how it goes. Right. Okay. Gonna make a start on this now. So what I did after I did this the last time on the on Project Katie, people suggested that I bought some sponge things. Now I haven't been able to find any. So what I did is I bought these in the pound shop, I think it was. Sanding blocks, so they're sponge. So as much as I'm not going to use the coarseness of the actual blocks themselves, what I'm going to do is wrap some wet and dry 600 wet and dry around it, which I'm going to use wet. I've seen various videos where some people use it wet and some people use it dry. So I've actually got the paint sitting in some boiling water, so I'm just going to use that water for the minute. Just make it a little bit wet and just give it a very light sand. Now this bit is probably going to need quite a few layers of paint. It's going to vary from dent to dent, well not dents, scuffs, aren't they? There's a little divot, so just give it a little bit of a rub down, gently. And then what we're going to do is wash that. Give that a clean. I've got toothbrush. I've got the brush in my mouth at the moment, the paintbrush. So we'll give that a little wipe over with some, to take it out so I can talk properly. With some IPA just to clean it. Yes, I could use panel wipe, I suppose, but... Well, by the way, I've got some surgical spirit now. I got some from Amazon in the end. After it was suggested that I use surgical spirit for the hot glue, to get that hot glue off. So hopefully that'll work. Might as well do this little one as well while I'm here. Oh, that's come off. That was that was obviously a scuff rather than a scuff that hasn't gone through. So right, what we're going to do, the paint's suitably warmed up now. In fact, it's very warm. Ouch. In fact, the can is bloody hot. Give it a bit of a shake for a minute, and then we'll start dabbing this on. And so we're going to do it in stages. We're going to let it dry, let it dry until I build it up to the right level, and then we'll sand it back and polish it. And if it goes as smoothly as it did on the orange car, then it will be nigh on invisible, hopefully. So I'm using the direct gloss because I don't use this direct gloss anymore, so I just use this now for touching up. So we'll give this a good shake and then we'll come back and start painting it on. Right, here we go. Hopefully this will be a little bit more forgiving colour-wise when you actually are just touching up. So it's worth, I think, spending a little bit of time like this rather than just touching it up with a cotton bud like I usually do. I think it's worth spending a little bit of time and making it better than it would be by just touching it up. As I say, that's going to need, I think that's going to need more than one coat. But being cold, even though I've warmed the paint up, I suppose I could have warmed the actual panel up, I suppose, but it has warmed up a little bit. It was -4 earlier, but it has warmed up a little bit. You're not even seeing this, are you? Can't even see what I'm... Sorry, I'm just trying to point it down to where I'm painting. Hopefully you can see it. I've already actually filled most of it in. Some of it, as I say, some of the marks on here are marks and they will come out just by polishing, but I will obviously fill in those that aren't as best I can. So yeah, so we'll I'm not going to film all of it, but what we'll do is we'll come back in stages as we put more paint in, sand it back, and then the final thing will be obviously to polish it. But yeah, that's sort of basically what I'm going to be doing today. So I've done the ones on that side. This one is quite a deep one here. Some of it's not even broken the paint, but it's just a bit of a divot. So I'm going to have a go at that one as well. Well, I'm going to have a go at all that need doing, but thought we'd do this one on camera. So we'll give it a little sand, just to take the high points out. So you don't want to go mad with the sanding, obviously, because you don't want to go taking the paint off. You just want to sand it down so it's as flat as you can get it. Without going mad, that'll probably do. So these are little divots here. So these will take some filling. So I'm only rubbing gently. Give them a wipe. And then get some more with some IPA on. Yeah, it's not much on this bumper at all really to do. I just want to, because it's a newer car, I just want to make it, spend a little bit more time on it and get it as best as I can. Obviously I always want to get it as best as I can, but so look, see, look, those marks there, I don't know if you got that in. Yeah, there were some marks there. They've literally come off with the IPA. So they're not scratches. Okay, let's, I've lost my paintbrush, there it is. So let's touch these in. This one's not, actually we'll do that one first because that's the heavier one. Heavier hole. And these two here as well. So we don't mind so much if it protrudes here because we can sand it back. And then we won't actually load the brush anymore because this one's not a deep one. So we don't want it to run. I don't know if it's because of the cold weather. As I say, I have heated this paint up, but when I've put the paint in the lid, it's almost like it's curdled almost. Or maybe there was moisture in the lid possibly, I don't know. But that should do for the time being, and then we'll let that go off. We'll probably let that dry. I'm going to let that dry until tomorrow actually. I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to do this in stages, bit by bit. So apart from there's another big bit round there then on the edge here, just here. So I'm going to do that bit as well. And then that's it, I think, on the bumper. That's all there is. I'm sure there are other little bits, but as I say, some of it is not chips. It's just tiny little bit on the front of the bumper here, which you can't see at the moment. But we'll just put those in. That's it. Yeah, a lot of the tiny little marks we'll just polish out, and then obviously we'll worry about that as and when the time comes. But yeah, pleased with it so far. As I say, we'll do it in stages. Got to polish these headlights as well. Anyway, that's another day. Yeah, so we'll be back, probably back tomorrow once we, as I say, we'll do this in stages. I'll come back tomorrow when we do some more. We'll sand back what we've already done and then put some more, probably put some more paint in, keep sanding it back until we've got it relatively level, and then we'll get the old polish out, the cutting compound, and cut it back. And hopefully after that, if it's like it was on the orange car, it'll be invisible. Right, that's it all done now, all the bits done. That bit all around there, you can't really see it through the camera, but yeah, I'll let that all dry and come back tomorrow. That bit's probably dried now, you actually have to look for it. It's actually, no you don't, it's there, you can see it. But just because of the temperature and what have you, I just want to let it go, because the paint is quite thick that I've put on, so I just want to give it plenty of time. And yeah, we'll come out and sand it tomorrow, probably put some more on. But we've got some other stuff to do now, not on this car. Got a nice empty drive now, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day on this. I'm dying to get on, so hopefully one day next week we might be able to actually make a start on getting this done. If the northern half of the country has got about 8, 9, 10 degrees, and we've got, well, it's probably 0 at the moment, but I want to get this done. Dying to get stuck into this and get this done. Because once we've done that, service, MOT, that's pretty much done then. We've already done the tyres, we've done the interior, got to clean the hard surfaces and what have you, but service and MOT. I haven't tracked down have I got a service history for this? I haven't, have I? So we've got to track the service history down on this as well. Don't think we got anything, I can't remember. Get confused with cars, I've got so many of the damn things on the go at the same time. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow, and then after that we won't come back on this then until such time as we attack this. I think we need to get those wheel trims cleaned up and get them on actually as well. I don't know why I haven't put them on, but they're in the boot, so we need to get those done as well. And then yeah, I think that's it. After that, we think the cam belt's probably been done on this, and I will, when I track down the service history, I will obviously ask that question as to, has anyone done the cam belt? So I know that it was actually serviced in April this year. That was the last time it was serviced, and I think going by the MOTs I might be able to figure out if that was when it was MOT'd as well, because I think the MOT is due in April, so it was probably, so chances are it was serviced when it was MOT'd. So hopefully when I call up the MOT garage they will be able to tell me what they've done. Hopefully that might be the cam belt as well, but we will see. But that's in a future video anyway. So that's it for now. So we'll see you tomorrow or whenever. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. It has been several weeks since what you have just seen. I'm not even sure how many weeks. I'll put it up on the screen if I can work it out by the dates on the actual video files, but it has been quite some time. The reason for that is if you are one of my regular viewers and you saw the rolled grey car, I was working on this before that. So since then I've done the rolled grey car and I have done the black one for my sister-in-law. All of that stuff has gone on since the last video that you saw, and now we need to get on and get this one finished. There's not much to do on it, to be fair. Most of it's been done. There's a few little bits of paint to touch up on the bumper, if I remember rightly, but the main thing we've got to do, apart from, was it open? Yeah. I thought we'd clean these seats, but these seats were really dirty, weren't they? I bought some Maguire stuff that I'm going to try on that, because there's still a bit of a stain on there. There's a couple of little bits of mould. I have had damp things front and back, and I think it has helped, because apart from that little bit there's no other bits of mould anywhere, because obviously the carpets were cleaned as well. It smells a little bit in here. I think it's just because it's been sitting around for so long. The dash is absolutely rotten still, so that all still needs to be cleaned, because this is the one that was absolutely full of rubbish, wasn't it? I put the hubcaps on just because it was parked outside, so it's been outside ever since. Literally been out there for weeks. Probably, I don't know, it must be approaching a couple of months. Really not sure, but at least the weather's improving now, and we've got to do this. So apart from cleaning it up inside, I really can't remember if I serviced it or not. I probably haven't, and I can't even remember what service history I've got, which I'll have to obviously go back and we'll cover that again later. If you lot can probably remember better than me. But we're going to come out tomorrow and see if we can get this done. It'd be nice if I could get it done tomorrow, or at least get it done and sanded and possibly in primer. So I think what I'm going to do, the way I'm going to attack this, I think, is I'm going to take the wheel off, jack it up, take the wheel off, take the wheel arch liner out, and we're going to get in behind it. Obviously we cracked the paint there, we've got a little bit there. I thought that was rust, that is actually paint, so that will probably just buff off. Same goes for this, there's a couple of little chips, but obviously we've got to paint this, we're going to paint that. So I think what I will do, got a little, that's the crease. How much of it I will get out, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to whack some filler in it. I doubt if I'll get it out, but that's going to be obviously behind, well, the blue and me, it hasn't got blue and me, but that's going to be behind the panel. I'm not going to take the panel off. I'm going to take the arch liner out and go in from the back of here for this. Because this is on the body line, I'm going to see if I can push it out as much as I can, and then I'm going to have to fill it and be very careful and try and do it. And of course this is on the body line as well, although the body line sort of fades away there, doesn't it? The body line sort of changes when it gets to there, so that will probably be okay. So that obviously is just going to come off. That will have to be pulled out and filled. That'll have to be straightened out. That's probably the worst part. And then we've got another one here. Again, it's not very deep and it's mainly marks, but I think it will probably need to be filled, sanded. So what I'm hoping is I can get it all done tomorrow, all pushed out. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to use my welding machine at all or not, actually. Possibly not, although I might have to use it down here, possibly. But yeah, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. So yeah, I'm hoping to get it at least filled tomorrow. I've got all day, apart from a couple of bits I've got to do, but I've pretty much got all day. So we'll get as much of it done as we can. Okay, welcome back to the next day. Yes, so as you can see here, we've got a few new bits and pieces that have arrived, and look what we've bought. A spray gun. Got an air regulator. I've got some other bits that are coming, and I just need to try and figure out whether my air compressor has got enough oomph. Otherwise, I'm going to buy another one. I'm going to practice on something first, before I do it live on a panel. But yeah, be interesting. Be nice to be able to do a better job of it, really. It was a bit of a job on the old black car. As you can see, my intentions were to do this today. As you can see, it has actually been raining all day long. So, and it's not showing any signs of stopping. So I'm not going to be doing it. I think what I'll do is I'll get in and I'll clean the inside as much as I can. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so the black one is now, you would have known that this came back to me with some issues. All done now. It's got the proper tyre on it. Yeah, it's all finished. So that one's going again today, and I'll be getting the mint one back again. So chances are this one's going to go back on the back burner again, because I need to get that mint one finished, because I've got a buyer for it, or a potential buyer for it, and there's not that much to do to it. So yeah, I will be back as and when we get to this one. We will obviously be part of this video, so the next time you see will be this. Right, going to attack this now. So I've got it up on an axle stand, and I've peeled that back. The reason I peeled it back rather than taking it off is because I could not, for the life of me, get the bottom screw undone, and I don't want to break it off. So yeah, it's just peeled back like that. Now, unfortunately, if I get the camera up there, you'll see that that is about where that ends there. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. Where that ends there is about there. It's about here. So I can't get to any of this. So the only thing I can do is pull that out. Now I'm going to have a go, after I did some on the blue car, on the green car yesterday, pulling out some dents. I'm going to try and pull it out as much as I can. And invariably I'm going to have to fill it. But because this is on the body line, I wanted to try and avoid that as much as possible. And as we know, the body line, as the body line comes down, it gets to about here and it starts to fade away. So this bit won't really be an issue. But I'm going to get in there. It's also double skin there as well, I think, because it feels too thick. But I'm going to have a go. I'm going to give it a tap, get a dolly behind it, and see if we can get any of it out. And as regards this, I can't get to it. I'm not taking the panel off. I'm going to just either use the welding machine to pull it out, or I'm going to use the glue. Same goes for this one as well. Get it done as much. If I can get that one out, it'll save me having to fill that. I'm trying to keep the filling down to a minimum, but we'll see what we can do. If there's still a crease there, then obviously we're going to have to put some filler in there. But yeah, it's going to all have to be painted this bit anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But I just wanted to keep the filling to a minimum. Anyway, I'm going to set you up in time lapse. Let's have a go. I'll pop in every now and again with progress reports, hopefully, and yeah, let's do it. I'd like to see if I can get this in, possibly painted today, even if I'm lucky. You never know. Let's get as far as I can with it. Let's do it. As you can see, it's been absolutely throwing it down with rain. Not too much success with that. I was just about to sit on the stool then, but it's soaking wet. I managed to get this bit out a little bit. That's come out quite straight, actually. I managed to get in there. That's not so good, but it's come out a little bit. None of the rest of it's really come out. That might have come out a little bit, but raining didn't help. And I thought to myself, as I've got I'm going to have to fill it anyway. I think I'm just going to rub those bits down and fill them anyway, just for the hell of it. So it's got to be done. This will be good practice for when I do the blue car. Yeah, let's attack it. Let's do it. Let's get it filled and hope the rain stays off. It's a completely blue, well, almost a completely blue sky again now. So I'm going to, yeah, let's do it. Let's get this rubbed down. I'm not going to show you me rubbing down paintwork, but we'll come back in a bit. And yeah, I'm still hopeful I might get this at least in primer today. Obviously there's going to be filling, sanding, filling, sanding, filling, sanding, filling, sanding. Hopefully not quite as many times as that, but yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done. Right, that's the first coat of filler. I've used ordinary filler, not the dolphin glaze. That's obviously for the final coat. You can still see it just there a little bit, but obviously that's going to need more filler on there. I've done this bit in stages because it's on the body line, so I've done that bit. What I'll do is I will rub that down, take the tape off, and then do the bit of filling that needs doing in there. Tape it up the other side. I've seen people do it on various YouTube videos this way. Sometimes you've seen them do it manually and then they've taped it off when they sand. But I'm going to do it this way to start with and see how it goes, because I've never done this before, so it's a first for me. That didn't take much, so that will be, neither did that bit there. It's really just mainly that bit and that bit. But I've rubbed down the entire side of the car up to about there, and I'll blend into that. Gone into the bumper and I've gone along there. You might be able to see where it's dull. I've gone along there. So first of all, I started off, I did the whole bit with a 320, then I did a 600, then I did a 400, then the filler. So yeah, still hoping to get it done today if the rain holds off. Obviously I need to let the filler go off now before I can do anything else. So I might, I don't know, I'm trying to think what else I can do while that's doing its thing. I'm sure there are things, but let's have a look, see what I can do. It might be a bit of tidying up inside, something like that, cleaning inside. I might do that. And then we'll come back in every now and again and do a bit more. Okay, so we've been going for quite some time now, because obviously you have to leave it to dry. So we're getting there. I think we'll probably have to have possibly one more coat of filler after this one. So the difficult bit is sort of rebuilding the arch, the body line. That's the difficult part I'm finding. So as you can see at the moment, it's a bit proud on that arch line. It's not particularly straight either, but that is where it fades out down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask out one part of it and then sand the other bit, and then do vice versa, and then try and do it that way. That's how I've seen people do it on YouTube. There is an art to it, without a doubt, and they make it look a lot easier than it really is. I'm finding this bit quite challenging, but I will persevere and we will get there as best as I can, because I've got to do it on Sean's car. Excuse the wind. Not so bad on this one, but we've got to do it on here as well, which isn't anywhere near as bad, but so we've got to master it. And as much as I don't, if it was a dent anywhere else on it, it'll be fine. Filling's not an issue, but it's the body line bit is bit. So that bit's fine now, I think. Once that's rubbed down, let's add another coat of, we're onto the dolphin glaze now, but that's had another coat now, so I think that'll be alright. But what we'll do, once I've got it, I'm happy with it, I'll get the old, forgotten what you call it now, the black powder that you put on and then sand to make sure you're all level. The bits up here were done, that they were so small you can't see them at all now. They've completely faded away. So I'm still hopeful that I might get some paint on this today. Still hopeful. It's only just after midday, so we've got plenty of time. It's just the delay, unfortunately, is waiting for it to go off each time. I'm probably having to wait 20 minutes to half hour for it to go off. That's the problem. And we're on, this is coat number 3. Yeah, third coat of filler. And I've got at least one more to do. What I have done is, I need to look back at my old videos actually, because this has been serviced. I don't remember servicing it, but I've serviced so many recently, and I've had so many cars go through over the last 2 or 3 months, and I've completely lost track, because this one was out on the road for over a month, with the only thing left to do was this damage. So yeah, I think I have serviced it. If I haven't, then it's been serviced very, very, very recently, because it's got what looks like a brand spanking new filter. I haven't looked at the oil filter, that is. I haven't looked at the oil yet, but I need to go back through my previous videos of this just to have a look, see if I have serviced it, but I'm pretty certain I have. I've got a feeling this was the one that had no service history with it, or very minimal service history. I can't remember, but again, you know, that's part of the job, is to chase it up. I just wanted to tell you something about chasing service histories as well. Let me just turn the camera around so you can look at my ugly mug. Bear with me. Yeah, so when on Project Roxanne, where I was trying to get in the sun so you can actually see me. There we go. When I was chasing up service history on Project Roxanne, part of doing that was to find out who the dealer was. I'm in the dark here, aren't I? Find out who the dealer was that sold it new. Now, the number plates on it were, forgotten the name of the dealers now, down in Maidstone, Fiat dealers down in Maidstone. So I phoned them, and they were quite helpful. And they said that we sold the car when it was a year old. They believed it came from the West Country, and they think it's probably a fleet car, Fiat fleet car, or it might have been a demonstrator, something like that. The fact that it was fully loaded with things like cruise control makes me think maybe it was a demo car. So during lockdown, a couple of times I'd called the phone number. There's an 0800 phone number. I think it's an 0800. No, it's not. It's a regional number, like an 01 something, for Fiat customer services. It takes you to Italy, where they've got English-speaking representatives, customer services reps, if you like, whatever you like to call them. During lockdown, a couple of times, or during COVID, not necessarily lockdown, but during COVID, a couple of times, there was a recorded message saying the number is not available anymore, or the number is unavailable at the moment. Please email customer services. They give you the customer services email address. I tried that last week and got the same thing. So they've obviously closed that customer services phone line down. So I sent them an email, and I got an email back saying, are you the registered keeper? Can you send us a copy of the front page of the logbook to prove it? Because it's against GDPR for us to tell you about what you're asking, which is all I was asking. Who's the dealer? So I emailed them back and I said, it's nothing to do with GDPR. I'm not asking for any personal information. All I want to know is who's the dealer is who supplied it new. I said, but as you're being awkward, the car is my sister-in-law's, so I forwarded the email address to her. She sent it off with a copy of the logbook. I had an email back from them saying, we will reply to the registered keeper, please liaise with them. She hasn't received an email from them yet, or if she has, she hasn't told me. So I don't know, I'm still none the wiser. But yeah, and Fiat will not talk to you unless you're the registered keeper. Stupid. But yeah, just wanted to tell you about that. Anyway, back on this. So yeah, as I say, need to check, see whether I've done this service history or not. Because as far as I can make out, apart from the general clean, and there's a couple of bits of paint that need touching up on the front bumper, which I'll do when I paint this. This is it. This is all that's left to do. And then it's got MOT, but it runs out May, I think it is, May, June, something like that. So obviously it'll be going for an MOT. And hopefully it will pass. And then we can knock this out. And this is a £4.5 grand car, I reckon. I sold the orange one, which was for 4,700, I think it was. That was with the alloys on it. That was high mileage. This has got getting on for half the mileage. This is only 39,000, I think it is, this one. The other one was 69,000, I think it was. So yeah, getting on for half the mileage. So 4.5 grand easy once it's done. And it'll be looking spectacular. I'm just trying to think if this is I can't remember now whether this is a Cat S or a Cat N, this one. I think this is a Cat N. Again, I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's a Cat N. Yeah, so we'll crack on. We'll come back again later once we've got this perfect, or as perfect as I think I can get it, and then we got some primer on it. We'll come back, and again, I am still hopeful to get this painted and possibly even lacquered today. Fingers crossed. As long as the weather holds up, really, because it hasn't rained for a couple of hours now. As long as the rain holds off, otherwise I'm going to be knackered and I won't be able to paint it. Right, there we go, all finished. All finished. I don't know what it's going to be like, but we are dodging the rain at the moment because it's really windy, so not ideal weather for painting at all. but it's going to be raining within the next half an hour or so. So I want to try. I've just panel wiped it. I'm just going to dry it off with a hairdryer, and then I'm going to get some primer on it. Okay, welcome back yet again. So I'm not going to be doing any more work on this car for a little while, because I've still got to get this one finished, and I'm actually getting a new car tomorrow. Not tomorrow, hopefully this week. I won it last week. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second, but I just wanted to show you, the last you saw was over a week ago, I think. You saw this being painted on this rear quarter, and if you remember, well, you will remember because you've literally just seen it, but it wasn't very nice weather. As you can see, the sun is shining lovely today, but it was raining, and I was doing it under the garden umbrella. I was trying to get it done, and I think I rushed it, and I've not made nowhere near a good enough job of this repair. Now I've painted it, and it looks bloody awful. Looks absolutely awful. I've even cleared it. It needed more clear on it, but I'm going to have to rub it all back down again and not start again, but it needs a lot more work. It looks really, really bad. I'm not sure if the camera shows it as bad as it looks, but it is pretty bad. So yeah, we're going to come back on this, but because we've got about an half hour or so video in the can, so to speak, I thought we'd end this video here, and then when we come back on this, we'll get it done in one foul swoop, probably. Because as we've mentioned before, there's very little left to do. I think I do need to do a service. I haven't looked back at the videos yet, but I don't believe I have serviced this. So if I haven't, then we'll give it a service. We've got to adjust the bonnet a little bit, and then it needs to go for its MOT. That's all we've got to do, apart from that rear quarter, get that finished. So that needs sorting, and I need to spend some time when I've got more time and do it properly, and hopefully make a nice job of it. Anyway, that's that. So let me just quickly turn the camera around, and we'll go through what the reason is for putting this yet again on the back burner, which I don't want to do, but it's got to be done at the moment. So yeah, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it now, but last week I inadvertently bought a car. It's a car that I've not done before. It's a car that I've never even been in one before. It is a Fiat. It is a car. I made a little bit of a ricket, and I'm not going to explain it now. All will be revealed. If you are not a member of my Instagram page, join it now, because when the car gets delivered next week, hopefully next week, it might be this week, I'm not sure. It's being delivered by Copart, so you're in the lap of the gods as to when it gets delivered. But it's bank holiday weekend this weekend, so chances are it's probably not going to be till next week. But when it comes, there will be pictures on Instagram. Love 500 Salvage. Come and follow me on there, and you'll see that, plus other sneak peeks and stuff that I'm doing on these cars. But yeah, Love 500 Salvage. Go and give us a like. on there. So as I'm saying, so this one for the time being is going to be it on this video. When we come back, we'll finish it off. We'll try and get it all done in one video, get it MOT'd, and then that'll be it. That'll be that done. So until then, you know the rest. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you next week on probably this, and hopefully a walk around on the new car that I've made a bit of a ricket on. Until then, as always, thanks for watching. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.